here I am with Toby. This video, the whole video speed up, so much slower than this. But we are creating a protocol for fly spraying. So not yesterday, but a few days ago, when the flies were coming out again, I tried spraying him off, and I didn't think he'd have any aversion to it, but I was strongly mistaken, and he had a full-blown panic. So now we are working on him cooperatively taking fly spray because it will make him much more comfortable during the summertime. So right now I am kind of testing to see what about the fly spray is scary. So it's not the bottle, but I have him target it anyway just to make sure that he's actually okay with the bottle. And so I am shaking it and then I'm reinforcing. I'm also waiting for him to put his head up and look at me before I shake. So then that way it is kind of his organic start button. However, when I first started, I was a bit late in that. So not perfect, but it does get better as we go on. So I can also shake the bottle and he's not having any aversion to that either. So that tells me that is most likely the spraying part that is scaring to him, as he's okay with touching the bottle and he doesn't mind the bottle being shaken. During our training sessions, we are doing it outside, so then that way he has as much open space as possible, so then that way he doesn't feel that he's in a panic or that he's unable to escape the fly spray if it were to get that scary, which, because I'm listening to him, it shouldn't. During this session, I broke this video up multiple times. So what happens is that we stand for maybe a minute or two, then I pause the video, we go around the obstacle course, then we come back to that, just so we can get as much movement and regulation as possible. So again, this is a longer video or a clip of our session, but this was actually broken up into different sections. And so see, there was a break, and this is after we went around the course. So once his head is raised and he looks at me, I spray, click, and then reinforce with food. So eventually, over time of counter conditioning, he'll associate the spraying sound with a positive experience. What I wish I did, and more in the beginning of the video, was establish more of a place target so he knows where to stand. But after the third session of working with this, that's when I introduced a target, like a placement for him to go on, because in that way it's easier for me too. So then I can tell, one, is he actually moving around to avoid the spray, versus one, is he doing it because he's just trying to follow me. So this is our second session working on it. I start the same way as I did the first one, or I guess I start where I ended it off. Just depends on how he's feeling. So I feed or reinforce, head up, and then he acknowledges me. That's when I know I can spray. And you can kind of see the spray when I do it too. For some horses, you may have to go a lot slower than this, but you have to play it by your horse, right? You have to do what your horse is telling you he is comfortable with, or they are. This was from today. So here I have a bowl because it makes it a little bit easier. He's not the best at finding food. And then I have it on the bowl on the tarp, so then that way it's more of a standing target. This is also going to help if I want to fly spray inside, because it is a bit more confined while still giving lots of opportunity for him to leave. But I'm doing the same thing. There, he took a step back, so that tells me I went too fast, so I just reinforce him from being on the mat again. I take a step back so he has more space, and then I wait a little bit before I start again. So there, I should have waited for him to acknowledge me a bit more before I sprayed. And so that's why I also record all of these, because I'm not perfect. I know I'm not perfect, but you don't grow by pretending you're perfect. You grow by watching back on what you're doing and learning from your mistakes, right? And so that's why I think it's important to document to show as much as possible, because training isn't perfect. I'm human. I'm going to make errors. And it doesn't do anyone any good to pretend that I don't. Right? You grow by learning, not by forgetting. And so today I'm taking my time, because I do notice that he is a bit more hesitant, most likely because the area I'm working with is a bit more confined, as opposed to the more open area I had the last few sessions. And so I'm just really working my time to reinforce him for just standing still. And see there, that was a lovely one where he looked at me, I sprayed, he didn't move back at all, he was quite comfortable, and then I just reinforced him again just for standing still. You can see there I sprayed and he looks at it. And then I'm also reinforcing just when I change sides, just so he knows I'm over here and that is okay. And he has his hoof cracked, which I think is a sign of relaxation in this video. Again, depends on the horse and situation. But, the second half of this video is much better than the first, obviously. And the same thing, during those breaks, we go around the course before we go back to the hoof care. Or not the hoof care, the fly spraying. So again, it just depends on your horse. Some horses you may have to do a few sessions just on working on targeting the bottle. Others you may have to work a few more extra sessions on shaking the bottle. But for him, it's the actual spraying part that he finds scary and aversive.